What's up, everybody? Welcome to our first episode. My name is Chris. Welcome to the Platinum Auto Lounge. We're here today with our co-host of the show, Rob. Rob, you want to say hi to the cam?
What's up, people?
We got a visitor today hanging out with us. That's our buddy Burger. Make sure y'all follow him on his streaming social media. Tell him, Burger, what's the social media, Burger?
Social media is Ride and Fry.
Ride and Fry. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, check him out.
Yeah, we love Burger. So we got some pretty cool topics that we're going to be talking about today. Today is pretty much mostly about an introduction to who we are as a team and what this podcast stands for. So with the Platinum Auto Lounge, we're pretty much going to be talking mostly about motors, meals, and mindsets, as you've seen on the cover of our YouTube channel. So that being said, I want to pretty much introduce myself. So my name is Christian Garcia, and I am a automotive junkie. I've been in the industry for 10 years, and 5 of those years were with Land Rover, and then the other 2 were split up between Honda, BMW, and I was running an independent shop. So now we have the lovely opportunity and blessing to run our own independent facility, and that brings in my co-host Rob. He's our shop director, and I want Rob just to talk a little bit about his experience in the industry and what his roles look like on a daily basis here at Platinum Auto Concierge.
All right, so we could be here all night, but I'm going to give you the short version. So basically, since graduating, or even before graduating high school, I've been into cars, working on cars.
Where did you grow up?
In New York City.
Okay.
Queens to be exact. And, just fell in love with cars overall. Never thought I'd be doing this for a living, but either way, here we are. So 35 plus years of being in the automotive industry has been some ups and downs, some blessings, some not so good moments, but they're all learning moments, and we still here and we still kicking. So I'm just excited for this new venture. Pretty much, that's it.
Nice. Burger, you want to tell them what's your background? Burger's new to the automotive industry.
Yeah, I've been working in automotive for 2 years, and Rob was also one of my mentors as well, teaching me the ropes, and just been improving every day and seeing how far I can go in the automotive.
Nice. Yeah, Rob is a mentor to everybody that's around them, especially us young guys. We get together with the OG, and he be teaching us and putting us on game. So
not just about cars either.
That's why this podcast started. So we be talking about everything from the YMCA to everything. So question for you, Rob, that I had written down here. In the automotive industry, or just in general, what was your very first job, and how did you land that job?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So first job in the industry would be, I want to say it was right out of either high school or my little 2-year stint in college that I didn't really go too far with. But either way, so my wife's brother, my brother-in-law, he worked for a guy in Long Island, and they basically did new car preps, PDIs and washing cars, and they did alarms and stereos. So back in the 90s, when I started out, car theft in New York City was off the charts. So the alarm industry was big. So when I first got in, I was just doing preps, and then that kind of transitioned into the alarms and the stereos. And then my then boss, Paul, he saw something in me that I didn't even really see in myself at that moment, but he put me in charge of my own, actually 3 stores that was in Westbury. It was Westbury? No, I'm sorry, Hempstead. So I had 3 stores in Hempstead I would do, and I was so busy, I got to the point where I had to actually hire my best friend to come and help me and teach him, because he didn't know anything about like mechanics or electric stuff with cars. Nothing with cars. He was not mechanically inclined at all, but I taught him how to install alarm systems. And me and him actually started a business together way back then, doing that on the side. So, and then it just took off from there. We've always had, that entrepreneurial type of spirit. As young kids, we would airbrush our friends' clothes and make a little bit of side money doing that stuff, like little artwork on the clothes, and the jean jackets and the jeans, matching stuff. We would do all sorts of, I think it was Roger Rabbit was the big hit back then. So, but then we had a lot of West Indian friends. Yeah, West Indian friends. So we would, paint the flags, like either Jamaican flag or the Trinidadian flag or the Bajan flag, whatever flag they desired. We would do that kind of stuff. And I mean, to this day, like a lot of my friends from up north, really the ones that I'm still tight with, pretty much all of us own businesses at this point. So we always have had that mindset of we want to work for ourselves. We're not really built to take orders because,
yeah,
where we come from, without, and then on top of it, being in New York and knowing the people that we know, growing up with people like the Lost Boys, right? Big shout out to those guys.
Yeah, Rob's a Lost Boy, in case y'all didn't know. Y'all remember the Lost Boys with Renee?
Yeah, Cheeks. We got my man Spig Nice. We got my man Pretty Lou. And God bless the dead for Talik. But, then we kind of had our own little crew, which was the Backstreet crew, that was attached to the Lost Boys. And then we had, God bless the dead again, my man Big Mike. But just it was a tight knit family growing up. I had an excellent childhood, no matter how you spin it. Whether we got into fights, but we would fight each other one day and be friends the next.
Yeah.
Just how it was. But then we knew when we went somewhere, like the time the Lost Boys and Mobb Deep had this beef, and we ended up going to this club one night and fighting these guys all the way from Manhattan back to Queens.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been a interesting life. Like I wouldn't change it for the world. Like I had a good life, man. So I'm blessed to be here still. A lot of my friends didn't make it. I lost 8 friends in one summer.
Wow.
So whether it be gun violence, accidents, you name it. New York City is a wild place. It's crazier now than it was back in the 90s. But growing up in New York in the 90s was just, anybody will tell you it's just different mindset. The music was better. Like everything was just different. So, but I've just been blessed, man. I've been with my wife for 35 years. No, 36 going on this year now. So
Y'all better not get that number wrong.
Two healthy kids was starting to find their way in life. But yeah, it's been good. So
That's awesome. So a little bit about me and my background. I actually started off, my very first job was at Ben & Jerry's scooping ice cream. My mom got the opportunity to pretty much be part owner in a franchise with this guy here in Orlando. And so that was my first, I guess, taste of entrepreneurship and, working 40 plus hours a week in middle school. And then even in high school and after high school, I really learned the ropes of what it was like to run a business and what it took. And then moving to Puerto Rico, I hated cars as a kid. It's funny that I love them now because I felt like I was forced to like them so much that I ended up steering away and getting into the restaurant industry. And so, but the restaurant industry is kind of what prepared me for my position and what I do today in the day-to-day living, which is the customer service aspect of the automotive side. And I went to school with UTI here in Orlando, and pretty much pairing my automotive knowledge with my customer service skills, took care of my family for the past 10 years and has done amazing things through it. So I can't complain. Question I had here for looking back, right, at safe and sound in your first gigs, and even import auto service, right? Rob had a shop here in DeLand for damn near 20 years.
Right.
How did, in your experiences, right, at working at dealerships, because me and Rob met working at a dealership, but how did everything in your timeline prepare you for what you do today?
I feel like it's kind of come full circle. The lessons that I learned in my own business versus the lessons that I learned working in the dealership field. I mean, it's night and day. Like it's very draining when you work for a dealer. Like you go home tired, mentally, physically. When you work for yourself, or even in an independent, because you don't have this big corporate monster on your back 24/7, like the managers, because the managers are like, oh, well, corporate's this and corporate's saying that, and we got to get our numbers here, and we got to make sure that our customer satisfaction is there. And a lot of these things is things that technicians can't control. And then there's when you in the dealer realm, there's a lot of personalities that have to intermingle with one another. And sometimes they don't mingle very well with one another. Then there's lack of communication. There's lack of, I don't like this person, so I'm not going to go and talk to this person. Or I'm not going to communicate to the customer with this technician instead because I don't like this technician, right? So I've always said this, but nobody ever really listens. It's that even, general managers, service managers, whatever, the end result is you're always trying to please the customer, right? Like that's ultimately your goal. But when you take a gamble and a risk and say, okay, I got a guy that I'm paying $25 an hour, and I got a guy that I'm paying $50 an hour. I know this $50 an hour guy, I know what he knows. He can do whatever. Take a car apart with his eyes closed, put it back together, and send it down the road, and everything's gonna be fine. But this particular job that I have in front of me, I'm gonna give it to the $25 an hour guy because I'm gonna make more money on this job. But this risk reward, and the risk that you're taking is that this guy may screw up, right? And then who suffers? I mean, you see this every day, all day. The customer suffers. And now the customer's calling and saying, hey, what's up with my car? Why is it not done? Well, we had some, whatever. They'll make up whatever story. And then it just comes this snowball effect. And now you got to get the $50 an hour guy to undo what the $25 an hour guy did. Instead of saying, okay, let me take this $50 an hour guy and have him teach the guys how to do these jobs, and at least 3 times, right? And after that 3rd time, now you're on your own. You need to know, you know how to do this now. There's no question that you don't know what you're doing, right? And not every job's gonna be the same, and not every job's gonna have the same end result, but I don't understand why dealers don't do it. So to answer the question, now that I'm out, because they had me, with this guaranteed pay, and everything got turned upside down at this dealership. I'm not going to really name names, but they started to scramble, right, to figure out, well, we're bleeding money, and we need to fix the bleeding problem. The problem is not the techs. The techs are not in control of pricing. They're not in control of, customer satisfaction. They're not in control of
Car washing,
parking cars. Like, none of that's our problem. The only thing that we want to do is fix cars. And then you got the manufacturer on the technicians in the dealership's back saying, we need you to do these things this way, otherwise we're not going to pay a dime for this repair. So,
for example, RVC codes with Land Rover, by the way.
I wasn't going to name those, but since you did it, we going there.
We're not naming dealers, we're just naming brands.
So that's the thing. Then there's other brands. Porsche does it, Audi, Volkswagen does it, BMW does it now. Like everybody's following.
Basically, every dealership follows that.
They're following all these patterns now. So it's like, but in the industry, I get from a manufacturer standpoint why they're doing what they're doing. It's because there's this thing of, well, these guys are stealing, so now we need to protect ourselves to watch the theft, monitor the theft. These guys over here feel like, well, they're not paying enough, so we're gonna figure out a way to get paid more. Lie, cheat, and steal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's this constant snowball effect, and that's every industry. Insurance, you name it, it's every industry that happens. That's why Florida has such high cost of homeowners insurance. But not to get off track, this is what's happening in the automotive industry and on the dealer level. So now you come to an independent, you show up, you don't gotta clock in, you don't gotta get on a computer to freaking log into this and check your email and do it before you just work on a car. You see what the problem is, the customer comes in, you check the car in there. We have a process also, because we're trying to cover ourselves, as well. It's like, well, let's make sure that we do a walk around. So the customer can't say, hey,
I didn't see that dent there.
this dent wasn't here when I dropped it off.
Mm-hmm.
That happens every day.
So, we're following those practices because those are the practices that make sense. But as far as everything else goes, we can be a little more lenient when it comes to certain things. But we'll get diagnostic time. We'll get what we need to make money, right? Like that's ultimately what our goal is. We want to please the customers and we want to make a living and take care of our families. Those are our three desires and goals.
And fix everything right.
Well, that's please the customer.
Yeah.
Get it done, right? Like that's what it is. So between I'm getting to the point where it's getting harder for me to do this every day. I take care of myself, but luckily, back pain, leg pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, like it's all there, right? Like hard to sleep at night. So, but at some point, when we get busy enough and we can get another body in here that I can train and say, all right, this is the way we do this, I think it'll work out in our favor. And the same thing goes for Christian. Get a person in here to service right, legitimately, and say, all right, I worked at a dealership. This is the way we would talk to right service. I'm master certified service writer.
Pretty awesome, man.
Right? This is the protocol. This is how I need you to do this job. If you can't do it this way, let me know now so that I don't have to fire you later for doing something that you didn't do right. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be upfront about it. But if you feel you can do the job, let's go. So, and we have people in mind that we would like to bring onto our team. Obviously for protection, we're not going to mention no names, but we have people in mind, family members, all sorts of different people that we want to bring onto the team at some point and grow. We need to, we want to grow the facility. We want to grow just in general, right?
Yeah.
And we have the knowledge, the experience, right? And me having 20 years under my belt of owning a shop, I've learned from my first shop, the mistakes that I made, going into the second shop, the mistakes that were made, and now going into this venture, and try not to make those same mistakes and just make money. That's it.
Yeah. I'll say on my side, funny enough, in my resignation letter, this question that I'm asking Rob, I actually stated, which I understood that everything that I learned from my team, from the industry, from the poor management, from everything that I underwent my recent years in the dealership realm, all of that's what prepared me and made me realize, hey, this isn't gonna last forever. This is a rotating, circle that's just gonna keep on happening no matter where you go. They always say the grass ain't greener on the other side, and it's true. We have, Rob knows there's advisors that I used to work with that are jumped ship and went to another dealership thinking it was going to be all good, and it's worse than where we were at. So I figured that the only way to stop this terrible, cycle of work was to, open up our own business. And that's really how we started. And I got to meet this guy because I'm a foodie. He's a foodie. And we'll be talking food here a lot on the next coming episodes. But today we really just wanted for you guys to get to know us. We got about 10 more minutes here with our guys. And I got a fun question that I got to ask Rob, because I already know the answer, but yeah, y'all may not. So Rob, can I say how old you are, Rob?
Yeah, I don't care.
So Rob's 53 years old.
52.
52. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm 52. He's 52. I'm 29. All right. So Rob's had more jobs than me. He's had more life than me. Right. Fair to say, almost close to double. If you were to rank your past jobs,
Yep.
from most fun to never again, what's at the top and what's at the bottom?
Most fun. I would say the most fun, and I was young and wasn't making no real money, was at McDonald's, because it was three of us, three friends. It was Big Stan. Shout out to my man Stan Wesley, and my big homie Big Cat from Queens. So we were all in high school, 16 years old, just got our working papers, and we used to have this competition on who could flip the patties the fastest. Just freaking going crazy with the patties. You know what I mean? It was insane. Like, but that was the thing. But we had so much fun. And then like Stan, so we had a manager, and he had a really deep Hispanic accent. I'm not sure which country or whatever he was from, but he would always tell Stan, to sweep and mop the lobby. But the way he would say it was crazy. It was so funny. Sweep him out, right? So we always make fun of Stan every time he was out in the lobby sweeping and mopping. But Stan did some wild stuff at that McDonald's with the ice machine. I'm not gonna really say what he did, but I feel sorry for the people who got ice. That's all.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I ain't going to McDonald's ever again.
It was bad. But we had some good times, man. So obviously, in dealing with my own businesses, those were fun days. But then there was a lot of drama days, because you're dealing with personalities. I had in one of my shops, I had this guy I don't know if he was a crackhead. I think we called him Dope Fiend Dave, but he used to paint for me and stuff like that. So, and he was an amazing painter. But he would go on a binge, and disappear for days, because he's out there getting high. Once he got paid, he was getting high. Yeah. So that was a whole nother. I remember one time there was like a park across the street from the shop, and my boy Big Kev from Queens came to help me out in the shop, and trying to manage certain things. And he got into it every day. And Kev always would get into fights. Like he just loved fighting because he could fight, right? Like he was pretty good at it. So he gets up in Dave's face, and Dave's a dope fiend. He don't really care. You beat him up, he don't feel no pain, right? So he's just sitting there like whatever, do whatever you're gonna do. I don't care. Anybody else would be scared, right? Yeah. This guy's like, I don't care. So it's like, all right, you know what? I can't do this no more. So that was done. But worst. So what we at? Worst job, I would say. Honestly, it went from really good to really bad really quick. 2 years at this Land Rover dealership. That's probably this last 2 years is probably the worst job situation that I've had. It was crazy about it is that it was the highest paying job that I've had so far to date, right? Besides my own business, I never really calculated how much money I made personally, how much I really paid myself, but on paper, it was the highest paying job to date. But it turned out to be a fucking disaster. You know, just dealing with management, like, cause you know when somebody's lying to you, right? Like you can feel. I always have this sixth sense of when somebody's lying, and the worst thing I always tell my kids, the worst thing you can do to me is lie.
Mm-hmm.
I can swallow the truth pill all day, but if you lie to me, you're done. Like I don't mess with you no more. Like you know. So it's kind of how that went, but
Nice.
yeah.
So we got a few minutes left. I'm gonna run through a couple of questions real quick, and then we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye and go enjoy our weekend. So one or two word answers on these questions, Rob. Where do you see Platinum Auto Concierge in 5 years?
Honestly, it depends on how much you listen to me.
This guy's terrible. He thinks he knows it all.
I do.
And remember, he has like
I got
more
experience,
years.
man.
You know?
What? All right. So, if you could bring one celebrity or an influencer onto the podcast, who would it be?
Celebrity? I'm not into that stuff, man. The celebrity.
You wouldn't have Cameron on here?
I mean, I like Cam's in Mason's podcast. Like that's one of my top 5 right now. Him and the other one is All the Smoke. You know, I like them too.
Yeah.
Because I'm into sports, and you know, Cam is and Mason's from Uptown. I was born Uptown Harlem. You know, but either way, and his music was good. But I like how they keep it nice and street, you know. So I like that. I'm not no street guy, you know. I grew up in the streets. I know a lot of thugs, but I'm not one, right? Like I'm just a regular dude.
Yeah.
So, but I like what they talking because it hits home for me. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, celebrity stuff. I'm not really too keen on that because like I grew up around a lot, you know. Even the Onyx cats, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Fredro and them. You know, we grew up around that stuff, so we was always in the clubs, you know, seeing all sorts of celebrities, whether it be Puff, Big. I mean, you name them, we've seen them. You know, been around them, been in the clubs with them. I mean, we wasn't friends with them, but it's just being around them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really phase, like I don't really phased by it, you know what I'm saying? In my own mind, I feel like I'm a celebrity. So
Yeah.
in certain fields, like when me and you met,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
it was because of a car that I built,
True.
you know. So and you were like, you built that car, and then I showed you the pictures. You're like, oh snap!
That's
Yeah.
your homie's car, right? The race car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he built a pretty wild car. I'm gonna attach a picture of that here.
Shout out to Sam too, Parker.
Sam VR6. So nothing. We've had about 30 minutes here together. We're gonna get together for about 30 minutes, once or twice a week, and create good content for you guys to see. And next time we're gonna spice it up. We're gonna get Burger on here and get him talking about why we call him Burger, and all the food ventures that we endure together. So thanks again for watching, guys. My name is Chris. Of course, we got my boy Rob and Burger checking out. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at Platinum Auto Concierge. Follow us on TikTok, Platinum Auto Concierge, and on YouTube. If you're not following us, make sure you subscribe. The Platinum Auto Lounge, where we talk about motors, meals, and mindsets. Hope you guys have a blessed weekend. See you next time. Peace.